Yo, what's up YouTube, it's TRS, or The Real Smug here, and today I'm doing something I haven't done in quite a long time on this channel, and that is going to be a toon builder. Start this video off by looking over the equipment, because all this equipment that I've got equipped is best in slot. I know some people might argue one or two of the items, but I'll let the game speak for itself. So, my helm, I've got the Lion Guard red hood, because when your stamina is over 75%, your power is increased by 5,000. There's nothing in the game that outright beats this headpiece at this time. There is stuff that was found in the coding on the preview server on PC, but that is nowhere. That headpiece as well as feet are nowhere to be seen in the game as of yet. So there's speculation that's mod 20 gear. The chest piece is the Scavenger's Hide. This is the pre-patch. Well, this is the same as a pre-patch ebony shirt. If you don't know where to get it, then you're missing out. If you want to know where to get it, comment down below. But it's just the best in slot. It's pretty much 10% of your power when you proc it. It's just nice. It's 5% better than the ebony. I know it's a low item level piece, but you deal with it. The arm pieces are the Lion Guard red braces. Excuse me. Because just like the headpiece, when this is fully procced, it is 5,000 power, which there is, yet again, nothing that beats this. Well, depends, because you could technically start using the primal arms again, because it don't clash with your chest piece anymore. But it don't clash with my chest piece. So you've got options on the arms. The difference between the Lion Guard arms and the primal arms is, from my testing, I believe the primal has about 1,000 or 2 more power, I believe it worked out at, with this build. But then you've got to deal with the issue of balancing stats. So, because it's a lot lower rating on the, well, it's a lot lower combined rating, as well as hit points and so on and so forth. At the moment, I'm still using the Lionheart longbow because I have not set foot in Zariel as of yet. I'm still waiting for that correct group to run it with, because I don't want to be wasting time or resources in it with a group that doesn't stand one hell of a chance. So, on my Lionheart main hand, I am using Radiance in offensive because best in slot, and utility for the head and arms are darks, but you'll be able to see that. And the Vorpal because Bilephone isn't as good on a Hunter Ranger as it is on a Warden Ranger, because roots don't proc Bilephone, so it's not as effective. And then of course, to complete the set, I would need the Lionheart offhand. To have a look at the artifact modifications, I'm using Aim Shot / Aim Strike, because that is our main at will. And then on the offhand, I am using Power and Critical Severity. This actually got fixed. For the longest of time, this was only giving 7.5% critical severity. It was giving 10% of your base critical severity, but now it gives you straight flat 10%. So it's just amazing over the rest of this stuff. And then of course, power. But if you do need to balance your stats, or if you want to go a different route, or if you don't have, or if you're unsure about the hit points, you can put hit points on it. You can see I've got almost 9,000. I've got 9,946 hit points at this time, if I want to put it on. And then the boots are the Fiend Forge Glaces. English isn't my strongest forte, so I'm just putting it out there. Of course, every 5 seconds you're in combat, you gain 200 power. It stacks up to 24 times, so that is 4,800 power. That is just amazing. The only boots we know of that will beat that out will be the Greaves of the Light Guard. But like I said, with the headpiece, it was found in the coding on preview for this mod, but it's nowhere to be seen in the game. So that's annoying that we know of better gear, but it's not available. So now on to artifacts, because I'm going left, middle, right. Artifact, the main one is a token of chromatic storm, because even though it says target takes 10% more damage for 10 seconds, it's not that, it's more. If you've done your testing, you'll know. And then, of course, I've got 2 journals for the hit point, and for the hit point from it, it's just nice. But if you don't have the journals, you could always go any other 2 artifacts that give you hit points, like the Sword of Zariel and the Blast Scepter. Because each one gives 6,000 hit points. I do not have the sword because I do not need it, but I have the Blast Scepter because I have the debuff at my disposal. I had them all before the token came back into prominence. So 2 journals, and then of course the third one is the music box to finish off the music box set, but I'm using, of course, Darks in utility, Radiant in offensive. This set is just busted on the Hunter Ranger because of how quick we can use it daily to get that 15% when we're causing damage to a target not facing us, to pretty much up the rear of a target. And then the rings are Ring of the Shadow Stalker +5. This is where a lot of people are skeptical about if it's best in slot or if it's not best in slot. But you gotta think, this is your powers deal 2.5% more damage. That is the only equip bonus that people know of, other than the Ebony Stained Shirt, which I do not have on this because I needed the stats from elsewhere, is that buffs the roots. Because roots are a considerable amount of damage for this build. And then onto the next ring. Of course I'm using Tenebrous and Radiant. The next ring is the Guiding Ring of the Spy. I've only got an epic one because I was not forking out the money to get a legendary one. I hit my accuracy anyway when I'm putting it up, so that ring really would not make a huge difference. But it's your rain powers do 3% more damage. Majority of this build is ranged, except for the roots, obviously. And then the waist is to finish off the music set. And then the shirt I'm using is the Infernal Forge Wad shirt, because even though the action point management is nice in this build, this shirt helps out with that a little bit, because you get 1% every 5 seconds, along with the feats that we use. It just synchronizes really nice, really well. And then of course the pants I'm using are Pants the Keeper, which are the 3960 pants. I haven't been lucky enough to get the 4040 defense pants because, in all honesty, I stopped farming for them as soon as I got these ones, because I can make my build work with this one, so why should I try get the why should I put the effort in to get the better pants for that minimal increase? But yeah, that has been my gear and artifacts. So next we go on to powers, which of course is aim shot in LT and careful attack in RT. I like putting my main at will in my left trigger, but feel free to put them in whichever slot you want, whatever feels better for you. And then of course the encounter powers are Hindering Shot / Hindering Strike, Constricting Arrow / Sail Breeze, and Commanding Shot / Stagheart. Because these are just... we could keep that constant 10% damage buff up if you do your rotation right. And the dailies are Snipe, for if you want to throw one out. Well, I don't use Snipe at all. I always use Disruptive Shot, because it's to do with the final feat, and it's a quarter of your action point, which is really manageable to get back. And then of course the feats are Seeker's Vengeance, who don't want to do more damage, and then Aspect of the Falcon, which is your range stance power deal 10% more damage if you're within 25 feet of your target, which you should be anyway. And then the feats are Rate of Change, because it's just better than that. You can technically go long shot if you want to go pure range, but pure range is not as good as a multi-stance. So Rate of Change is getting 15% damage buff when switching stances. This bonus is reduced by 2% per second and refreshes to full on your next switch stance. We'll go over that during the full rotation. And of course Formed Roots is your strong grasping roots upgraded to Formed Roots. Formed Roots deals 75 magnitude damage per second, or when hitting a boss. Most bosses in this game are control immune. It deals a straight up 225 magnitude damage. So, and that 225 magnitude damage is affected by combat advantage, debuffs. It's affected by everything. So that can be a big hit itself, additional onto all your abilities. So it's just phenomenal. And of course next is Biting Snare. This one is up for debate in the HR community, because some people do like Predator, but little do the people who use Predator know. Predator only affects certain stuff. It's not affecting everything. It's currently bugged. If it wasn't bugged, Predator would be better. But the fact that I think it only works on at-wills at the moment, I could be wrong on that. It's just not worth it. And then next is Forest Bond, and whenever you apply strong roots or Formed Roots, which we do quite often, it's a cooldown reduction. Which cooldown reductions is the reason why we're able to keep Commanding Shot up constantly. As long as we have a target to hit, which is not always the case. And then you've got more than Disruptive. Disruptive Shot increases your range damage by 10% for 5 seconds. So, for slight bit of the rotation, we have a 20% damage buff for 5 seconds, and then it drops to 10. But that 10% is for everyone. And sorry for the noise in the background. And then of course you've got the generals, which is Metallic Dragonborn, because who don't want more hit points and the healing. And now onto the Boons. This is where I balance my stats pretty much. So just feel free to pause this and look at it yourself. The guild boons I use are critical severity, hit points, Revival Sickness. And PvP 1 does not matter. The companions. I use the Quasit. Because I was over on my accuracy. I was over on my combat advantage with the bullet pup. So I just were able to switch over to this, because then I was able to balance the stats. Because as you can see, I get 32,300 combat advantage from this guy. Because I have Ivy Grown, Icon of the Companion, which is crit and combat advantage, all power. And then Imperial Diamond Belt of the Companion, which is defense and combat advantage, profane in a defensive slot, empowered in offensive slot. And then next is the Ivy Grown Grimoire of the Companion, which is armor pen combat advantage. So if you don't have any precise pieces of this, you could mix and match the stats, because between the Ivy Grown Grimoire and the Imperial Diamond Belt, that's 12,000 combat advantage. So if you have the 12,000 combat advantage piece, you could then throw on the Emerald Ring, which is armor pen defense, and then vice versa. So just use maths to your advantage in this situation to mix and match, because I know not everyone has the same companion pieces. So best of luck to you with that, because we all know how RNG is in this game. And then on to the actual companions. This is what I run everywhere. So it is a Baby Deep Grow, which is 8k power, just phenomenal. The Iron Golem, I'm using this because of the hit points, really, well, and the defense. So if you have other companions, like if you wanted to, if you built with Brutals in your defensive slots instead of Radiants, you could technically remove this companion and just go Minstrel for the more power. Or if you wanted to somehow make adjustments to this build and get the Green Slime in. I know the Green Slime's an expensive companion. I managed to pick it up when it was dirt cheap. But you've got room for flexibility for this build if you really want to. But I'm just showing you what I use. I know I'm good at maths, but I'm not always right. So you can have play around with this build yourself. Just use this as a base build. Just take that into account. So next is the Bacteria, which is 4% damage against bosses. Who don't want to do more damage against bosses? And then you've got Raptor Instinct. This is for if you're in the DPS group in Tom or Zariel. So if you're not in them groups and you're the only one that has a Raptor, you could swap it to the Hunting Hawk. The Hunting Hawk still affects you at will. It's 6.6% increase on your at will. So that it would make it, on average your at will hits about 300k with combat advantage and all the debuffs. So you're looking at an extra 18,000 on that. So on a normal rotation you're looking at an extra, you're probably looking about an extra 12 to 15k damage increase on your at wills. But on aim strikes, let's say. But if you don't want to use that, you could just go pure power, or you could go like the Black Death Scorpion. Mine isn't fully ranked up because I have no intention of using it, but you could use the BSI. So, like I said, on the last option, you've got room for flexibility, but the one that I would hugely recommend is the Compy. 5% power. That's just nice. The note in the game compares to it for companion wise. So that is the companions. So next on to the mounts, which my mounts I'm using at the moment is Batswarm, because it's just the best mount debuff in the game. And you will not get runs if you're not using that or the T-Rex, because I only have the bat swarm, as you can see. And then of course the star, which is the War-Triceratops. I am lucky enough to have the War-Triceratops, which is an extra 50,000 hit points. It just makes this a whole lot easier. And then of course I've got legendary movement, and the bonuses are Shepherd's Devotion. Whenever you use a daily, increase your teammates' defense and movement speed. So we cut by 10%. It don't say the length of time this is up, but we proc this often. And then you've got 2 gladiated gowns, 2 GGs is always nice. And then you've got combatant's maneuver. This one is just there because it's the insignias that I had. There will be bonuses out there that you could use. You could in theory use another gladiated gale, which would give you 2.5% more movement. Or you could use any other ability you wanted to in that spot. Like, I know some people are using Barbarian's Revelry, which is self-healing. Or Champion's Return, wherever it is, which I'm not sure where it is on this. It's there, which is when you are reduced to 50%, you recover 10% of your hit points over 10 seconds. So if I was to use another ability other than combatant maneuver, which I'm using, I would opt for Barbarian's Revelry. But the choice is completely up to you. If you make any adjustments to this build, you will have to stat balance some adjustments, because this build is statted very nicely, as you'll see in a minute. And the last one is Assassin's Covenant, because I was over on my defensive stats because I was over by 1,000. So I was able to drop the defense and stuff for more offensive stats, which just made balancing a hell of a lot easier. So I'm going to show you my base stats, which are there. My stats do balance out once I put up, but I'm 185,000 power, 90k amp and defense. When I'm potted, I go up to over 90,000. Same with the accuracy and 140 combat advantage. I will show you what I look like when I'm potted up. And the hit points on this build are 541. So when you're in a full VIP group, it goes 550. But as you can see, my base stats, 204,000 power, 90,000 in all my stats other than accuracy, which I'm well over. I'm noticing I've got the 666 twice on my build. So if that saves you off, sorry. And then obviously combat advantage and proc. Capture, say 133 critical severity accuracy, but it's technically 153 because of the Vorpal in our main hand. And then the other thing that I've done is gone full strength and constitution. The constitution is just really nice for hit points. You can, if you're comfortable with the hit points, take off the points in constitution and put it in dexterity, because that would be an extra 1.2% movement speed, but it would be an extra 2.5 crit. No, not 2.5. It'd be an extra 3% crit. It'd be 3% crit severity, and of course that extra little bit of movement would be 1.5% movement speed. So the choice is completely up to you, but I am comfortable with the hit points. I am going to be at 550,000 going into Zariel. So that has been my Hunter Range build. If you have enjoyed this video, found out some useful information, feel free to hit that like button and subscribe if you are new around here, because I am trying to hit 250 subscribers by the end of this year. I'm setting a small goal because the upload plan for this is going to be once a month at this point. So, like I said, if you have enjoyed or found any of this information useful, like and subscribe. So until next time, peace.